Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply. Let's make a hair-on cow pillow. These are always popular and they look good. Now for us, we're going to go with a very simple design. We're going to sew this on our 303, but we don't have to. A lot of us crafters, we don't have a machine in our shop. We don't need one. We could absolutely hand sew this and it's going to look good. We'll talk more about that, but also at Weaver, we've got some gorgeous hair-on hides, and I just want to show some of these off. All right, so anything I use in this video, weaverleathersupply.com, or check below. We've got links there, going to take you straight to the website. Also, if you want to know when our videos release, just click your notifications. You'll know exactly when these come out. So let's start at our pattern table. We're going to go with a 14 by 14 inch pillow. This is a good size for an accent pillow, something like a sofa. These look great, one on either end, or a recliner, larger chair, one pillow. It's not too big, it's not too overbearing, but it gives us some nice color. Now, on our pillow inserts, we can get these at most any craft store. We can find these online, multiple sizes, multiple levels of quality, but good Lord, let's don't remove that tag under penalty of law. So we're not going to go into a digital pick because we've just got these two pieces. So on our main body, 14 by 14, I'm going to go 15 by 15 here. Let's just add an inch to whatever size we choose. Now on the back, we could certainly add a zipper, but I like just a simple overlay. So we're going to cut one main body and we're going to cut two backing pieces. All right, we've got a feel for this. Let's go look at some hides. I hate to cloud the issue because at Weaver we've got some of the prettiest hair-on hides I have seen. 4 colors, black and white, exotic, brown and white, and brindle. So right here, if we're going with say a minimalist or modernistic motif, that's going to look good. In our browns, we can match just about any brown in our decor. Now here's a big point. Just like snowflakes, every hide is different. So any project we make from any part of that hide's going to be absolutely unique. Now here's the other side of this. Again, every hide is different. So when you order one of these, it may not look exactly like this or this or this, but it is going to be close. Now here's why I say I don't want to cloud the issue, because we've got 2 more options here. And I have to bring these 2 up. First off, our brown tip shearling. Wow, would that make a nice pillow? Right here, this is our chrome tan shearling. Soft and supple. If we're going for comfort over aesthetics, I would love to go with either one of those. Now, one more big point here. These make great projects, but they also make great rugs and wall hangings. In fact, we've got a really pretty hide on the wall in our house. All right, I'm going to reset here. Let's pick one of these, cut some leather. Let's go with this pretty brown hide because this section right here is going to make a gorgeous pillow. Now, it's a couple problems with cutting hair on. Well, first off, the hair. We'll talk about that. Easy way around that. But the second problem is it's easiest to mark and cut this from the flesh side. But then we can't see what we're doing. Our pattern sheeting is the perfect answer because I can see through this and I can position wherever I want. Now, right here, I've already used this for a project, so I've already got a good straight edge to work from. I'm going to drop that in right there. Now, when I cut this, we don't have to have a perfect cut on this because we're going to sew this inside out and then we're going to reverse it. But the hair is going to be an issue. So what I'll do is I'm going to cut this panel out. I'm going to shake it, and then I'm going to hit this area with my shop vac because this is going to produce a lot of hair, and that hair is going to stick to any leather that we've got below our table, including us. So let's, new blade or sharp blade, particularly with the hair on, let's cut our panel out. Okay, our panel is cut. Yeah, there's our hair. So let's shake this. Set this aside, then I'm going to come in and hit this with a shop vac. And there we go, that's the easiest way to do that. Okay, let's reset, and for our backing, we're going to use one of my favorite leathers. Let's go with our deer tan cow. Now, I say one of my favorite leathers an awful lot, but in my defense, we've got some beautiful leathers at Weaver. In fact, a little bit of hair left over there. But for us crafters, this is a good, affordable leather. It's very soft, very supple. It's going to make a nice backing. And our color, not a perfect match, but it looks pretty good. So on this, with our panel, we're going to cut 15, but we're going to go 9. So therefore, we're going to have a 3-inch overlay on the back. So let's cut our 2 panels out. And our panels are cut. Okay, let's step over to our pattern table, get this ready to sew. The one thing we have to remember here is we're going to sew this inside out. So on my hair on, I want the hair up, but on our deer tan, I want top grain down. So we're going to lay this in right there, and our other panel is going to lay right here. Now, I love our double-sided tape. I use that on almost every project, and I mow through that stuff. Problem is, that's not going to work well with our hair on. In contact cement, that just creates a mess. So all we're going to do is use small clips to hold it together long enough for us to get a stitch line in this. And 2, if our edges don't meet perfectly, again, we'll never see those. We're going to reverse this out. So let's put clips around this to hold it together. And we've got that ready to sew, but let's do one more thing before we put a stitch into this. Let's use a round corner knife to round off our corners. Now, if we don't have the knife, we can always make a series of smaller cuts. That's going to give us a round corner. But the knife, the easiest way to go. And this is another one of those tools I use on every project. We have these in 6 sizes. And let's go with the 40 millimeter for this project. Good, we've got that. Now, we're going to sew this on our Weaver 303. We don't have to. If we don't have a machine, we can absolutely hand sew this. Now, it's going to take a little more time, but if we spend 45 minutes hand sewing this, we're going to love this for 45 years. So let's step over to my shop and our 303. I say this every time we sit down at our 303. I love this machine, mainly because we're leather crafters. We're not production shop sewers. We don't want and can't use a machine that goes so fast we lose control of it. This is a world of difference. The head on our 303 is driven with a servo motor. That means we can drop the speed down to a little less than 1 stitch per second. Actually, I think we can do 1 stitch per 2 seconds. But the big point there is that now we feel like we have total control over the machine. So I'm going to sew all the way around, and I'll come back and just overstitch where we started. And overstitch 5 or 6. And there we go. Okay, let's go do a little cleanup on this. We'll knock in a pillow insert. We're done here. We've just got a little extra hair. Now again, we're never going to see this, but let's just clean this up nonetheless. I'm going to move that out of the way. I'll trim the excess hair, hit that with my shop vac, then we'll put our insert in. And all told, we've really got a pretty good meat all the way around, and we'll never see this. So I'm going to hit this with my shop vac. We'll drop in our pillow insert. Now, I mentioned we have a pretty good meat. Well, actually, it's okay. For a seam we're not going to see, that's no issue. But the deer tan, this can be a little bit stretchy, and the hair on the hair side, that can be a little bit slick. But again, we'll never see that. So let's flip this inside out. Okay, we've got that. Now in our corners, what I like to do is I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to press on the seam around that corner just to make that a little more rounded. Okay, there we go, looking good thus far. And let's work the pillow in, work it towards the corners. And there we are. I love that deer tan cow, very soft, very supple. We've got a good looking cow pillow. I can't wait to see this in the black and white and the brindle. But we've got a pillow here that's going to be right at home in any room that's got a Western theme. What a great craft we have. I can't wait to put that on my sofa. But I will tell you this, in my experience, the cow pillow, it's a big hit with family, friends, coworkers. These make a great gift. And it's not a terribly difficult Leathercraft project, but it doesn't look that way. I hope you have a great time making your cow pillow, and I hope it's a beautiful accent wherever you decide to put it. Good luck with your projects.